Welcome back. You're watching Friday Briefing. Thank you for staying with us. Now, we want to take a look at the latest in terms of pronunciation, or rather the best in terms of pronunciation. None other than Willice, the word master in the highly acclaimed Mind Your Language. Willice, good evening. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, good evening, viewers, wherever you are. It's now that time when we get down to good English pronunciations. I'm talking about RP and its approximations, the standard form of British pronunciation. However, we must always remember that not everybody in the world would use RP. That is due to many factors. Otherwise, you have the chance now to watch your favorite segment, Mind Your Language. I'm Willice Ochieng. We begin with the words that I promised you about last week, and for tonight, it's not about words. I'm talking about contractions. If you like, we talk of short forms. Now, the short forms are right here. The first one, you say I'd. Don't say I'd. I'd, very common, but you say I'd in standard pronunciation. The second short form is I'll. Just look at the transcriptions that I've used for you. I'll, not I'll. The third one, you say I'm, not am. Then lastly, you say I've, not have. We use have quite often because of what we commonly hear around us, but it's have. So we say I'd, I'll, I'm, and I've. That is the way to handle them if you are keen on good pronunciations. Clear? Great. Let's get to our collections of the week. And the first word is right here. Now, it talks about, or it means a feeling of great happiness. When you're very happy, but you say ecstasy. Please don't say ecstasy. Ecstasy, no. Ecstasy. Then you say ecstatic. Ecstatic and ecstatically. But this one, you say ecstasy. That is the pronunciation, so get it right. Then let's get to the next one. And when we talk about a person whose job is to draw tattoos on people's skin, you say tattooist. That is the way to pronounce this one. Let's get straight to the next word, and it's right here, a very common word. When you talk about an important ceremony in any religious organization, an important religious ceremony, you say sacrament. Don't say sacra. Sacra, no. Simply sacrament. Clear? Good. Then let's take a look at the next word, and I request you now to give it a try. Can you give it a try? Well, this one is a verb. When you see that E, you know it's a verb, and you say breathe, to breathe. And then when there is no E in its ending, it's now a noun, and you say breath, to take a deep breath. But for this one, it's the verb, you say to breathe. Breathe heavily. You get it right? Good. Now, let's get to our next word, dear viewers, and it's a word that is not very, very difficult, but you can handle it, though sometimes pronunciations can be a bit tricky. But how do you say it? You say nuptial. It's an adjective, and it means connected with marriage or wedding. You say nuptial, just like to tie the nuptial knot. Nuptial. Don't say nuptial. Nuptial, no. The U takes the mid-central sound, nuptial. That is the way to handle it. Now, let's get to our next word. It's not very common, but journalists really use this word, and it means when we have that long, angry speech in which somebody is criticized, or something is being criticized, or you accuse somebody of doing something wrong, you say tirade. To launch a tirade against somebody. Tirade. Don't say tirade. Tirade, no. You say tirade. but you can also say tirade with that stress at the onset or the beginning if you like. Tirade or tirade, but not T. T, no. Just like you say tyranny. Tyranny, not tyranny. Tyranny is very common, but the way to pronounce that word is when you begin with a sounding T. Tyranny, but the person is a tyrant. You get that? Tyranny, tyrannize, tyrannical, but a tyrant. Tricky words, but manageable. Let's get to the next word. Can you try it? Can you try it? Well, you say vacancy. Vacancy. You also say vacant. Vacant, vacancy. Avoid vacancy. Clear? Good. Now, let's get to our next word. Very tricky. It's not a common one. It refers to that machine which is used to cut off people's heads. Or you can also talk about that paper cutter, the device that is used to cut papers. So, how do you say this one? You simply say guillotine. Guillotine. Don't say guillo. Guillotine, guillotine, no. Guillotine, no. Guillotine. That is the way to pronounce this word. Then, let's get to our next word. Fairly long, but you can handle it. When we talk about, that increase or an increase, or sometimes when you have a rise or a spread of something like diseases, when it's too fast or too rapid, you may use this adverb. And then you say exponentially. Exponentially. Don't say exponentially. Cially, no. Sheally, no. Exponentially. That is the way to pronounce this one. So, get it right, and it will always be good for you when you're delivering an intended message clearly. Clear? Good. Now, our last word for tonight. Remember last week we talked about October, November, and we also talked about December in English. You say October, November, and December. But for tonight, this is the one I have for you, dear viewers, and it's the 4th month of a year. Can you give it a try? You say April, April, or April. In English, don't say April. April, no. The A takes its name as the sound. A. April or April. That is the pronunciation in English. And as I always say, let English be English. But every language is important. Don't say that this language is not important, because the essence of every language on earth is communication. If it's English, use it correctly. If it's Kiswahili, use it correctly, or you strive to use it correctly. If it's your first language or mother tongue, please don't consider it inferior. All languages are important. Let's get to our feedback for tonight. We have Raju K. Singh of Nairobi. Raju, you say invertebrates. Invertebrate. Don't say inverte. Te, no, T. Invertebrate. And that is about animals with no backbone. The animals without the backbone, you say invertebrate. That is the way to pronounce that word. Then, Beverly Njoroge. Beverly, I have just to begin by telling you, keep it up, because you are even able to remember. By the way, dear viewers, don't say can be able. Can means be able or able. Can. So don't say can be able. That is like saying repeat again. So those who love grammar, when you say can, don't say can be able. When you say repeat, don't say repeat again. But Beverly, I remember your word. It was beverage. Beverage. Just like your name, Beverly. So Beverly Njoroge of Karatina, you say crater. Crater, not crater. That is for C-R-A-T-E-R. Now, Wakili John, a.k.a. JB of Kampala, Uganda, you say finesse. Finesse. Don't say finesse. F-I-N-E-S-S-E, finesse. And then your second word, you can say obliged. Obliged. But remember, obliged is also acceptable. So, finesse, obliged, or obliged. That is for Wakili John, a.k.a. JB of Kampala, Uganda. Then Calista Simiu and Laura Nelima. Laura Nelima, your name is Laura, the way I have pronounced it. Don't say Laura. Laura is the spelling, L-A-U-R-A, but you say Laura. Laura Nelima and Calista Simiyu, you say award, an award. Then the second word, reward, to reward somebody. Then boomerang, boomerang, to boomerang. Lastly, you say sobriety. Sobriety, don't say sobriety. Just like propriety and impropriety. Not impropriety, not propriety, not sobriety. You get it right? Sobriety. Now, we have Isaiah Josiah Owino of Kisumu Kondele. You have two names which are tricky. Isaiah, many people would say Isaiah. Josiah, many people may innocently say Josiah, but it's Isaiah Josiah Owino of Kisumu Kondele. You say to reprimand, reprimand. The second word, renovate, to renovate. Margaret Kawera and Njoki the shepherdess of Meru. You say miraculous, miraculous. Your second word, monetary, like IMF, International Monetary Fund. Avoid saying monetary. Monetary is like saying give me my money instead of give me my money. So it's money and monetary or monetary. Now, we have Nelson Ngugi Mbatia of Lungalunga, Kwale County. You say eulogy, eulogy. Then your second word, engulf, to engulf. Don't say engulf. Engulf, no. Engulf. Then the rest of the words, I have covered them repeatedly on Mind Your Language. But the two, eulogy and engulf. So, Ngugi Mbatia, get it right. Now, Johnson, this is Johnston Nduya Jr. of Nairobi. You say D, then you have the stress. Humidifier, dehumidifier, from the word humid. Dehumidifier. When that prefix is added, it's a bit tricky. Dehumidifier. So don't say humid, you say humid. Dehumidifier. A very tricky word. Charles Mutisia of Kitui. You say legend. Legend. Don't say legend. Legend, no. Legend. And then, Charles, you say on a date. And on a day, the preposition that you use in that context is on. On Monday, not in Monday. And you also say on the 14th of such and such a month. On for the date and day. But when you use the preposition in, you are talking about a week. In a week. You are also likely to use it when you are talking about a month. In a month. In August. In January, in December. Don't say on December. No. You use in with the month. You also use in with the year. In 2020, not on 2020. In. And you also say in a century. Don't say on a century. But that is also useful for so many people. You get it clear? Good. You are watching Mind Your Language, and I'm Willice Ochieng, only on KTN. Now, let's get to the next person. That is Dr. Peter W. Saula and Andrew Wandera, both of Moi University, Eldoret. The first word, you say diaphragm. Diaphragm. Don't say diaphragm. Diaphragm, no, the G is silent. Diaphragm. But the second one, you now say diaphragmatic. Diaphragmatic. Remember, paradigm, a paradigm shift. Then paradigmatic. So, be very careful when you use such words. We are talking about inflections, changing the form of a word for grammatical function, but then in pronunciation, you may have the partial changes in pronunciation. Clear? Good. Now, let's get to Emily Auma of Nairobi, Edwin Benz Siele, Terry Kulen Kioko, Halima Sheikh, and then we have Benedict Ambetta, Salima H. Malongo, Gertrude Simeka, Vin Kodhiambo of Qatar, and then Tikoishi Naikumi of Nairobi. Keep it up because you are always having the chance. It's that segment of Friday Briefing every Friday night. Great. Keep it up. Then we have Mike Tyson Mandela of Mombasa. You say revere. The verb is revere, to revere. Then revered, a revered person, somebody who is famous and respected. revered. Then the second word, you say crux, the crux of the matter, the crux, C-R-U-X, crux, the crux of the matter. Don't say the crux. The crux, no. C-R-O-O-K-S is pronounced that way, crux. But C-R-U-X, just like in the crux of the matter, don't say crux, please. That would be wrong. Anita Kimbo, M of Moyale. Moyale, I give you a salute. Now, Anita Kimbo of Moyale, you say ingredients. Ingredients, not ingredients. Ingredients, no. Ingredients. Then your second word, you say recipe. Recipe. Don't say recipe. Recipe, no. Recipe. You can also say recipe, but please, recipe is the right way to pronounce that word. Austin Nalo, Mwita Kebu, senior counsel. By the way, don't say counsel. Senior counsel, no. Counsel is C-A-N-C-E-L. Counsel, to cancel something. But we say senior counsel. C-O-U-N-S-E-L, counsel. So senior counsel, Morara Kebaso, keep it up. Philip Luther, Grace Mutunga, and Francis Ayeng, keep it up. Simon Peter, you say Jesus, in Jesus' name. And then you also say Moses. But remember, that possessive form or that apostrophe S after James, you now say Jameses. Jameses. Very tricky. But for Jesus, don't say Jesus's. No. In Jesus' name. And then Moses. Just use that. Now we have what we call exceptions to the rules that are there when you deal with any language. So, Japheth, or if you like, you can use Japheth Wandabi of Kitale, Nelson Waweru, Christopher Haiga, Susie Lee, Ehubi Galani Benmark, Cornelius Osiango. If you like, you can also say Cornelius. Cornelius or Cornelius Osiango, Jimmy Osman of Kangundo, and Ruth Songok of Helsinki, Finland. Keep it up because we are there for you and we appreciate you very much. Let's get now to our surprise word for tonight. It's right here. When you talk about that large round frame where you hang bulbs or candles for light, you say chandelier. Chandelier. Don't say chandelier. Chandelier, no. Candelier, no. You say chandelier. That is the way to pronounce this word. I know it may be a surprise to many people, but as I always say, nobody can know everything in this world. Not even the native speakers of English, because English itself, if you study its origins and the development of the language itself, you may understand a lot. But that is that. Let's get to confusing words. Now, M-A-L-L, you say mall. A mall. But remember, you can also say mall. Mall. M-A-L-L. Mall or mall. The second one. M-A-U-L is mall. Mall. Still the way you pronounce M-A-L-L. Mall. So, don't say maul. To maul. No. Mall. Now, lastly, you have M-O-L-E. You now say mole. Mole with a diphthong O, if you like, the slight vowel glide O. So, mole, mole, and mole. So the first two are homophones. Different spellings and meanings, same pronunciation. That is what we call technically homophones. Clear? Great. Let's get to our part where I know many people have been waiting for it, and all the children in this country who love good spelling or correct spellings, keep it up. Now, when we talk about the reddish soil, which is commonly used in making roads, the one that is used to make roads, please, it has a U. So it's M-U-R-R-A-M. The upper one is the right spelling. So M-U-R-R-A-M, maram. Maram, but please don't use the lower spelling. M-A-R-R-A-M, no. That is why I've underlined the first A. You get it right? Good. Now, let's get to the much asked about words, and they are right here. The first one, can you try it very fast? Just try it as fast as you can. I know many people may have said carriage. Carriage, no, it's courage. Courage. You get it right. Courage. Just check it if you can in any reference material. Courage, not carriage. Then the second one, marriage. Marriage, not marriage that we are used to. And then lastly, you say miscarriage. So the three words are tricky. Courage, marriage, and miscarriage. Avoid riage. That is very common locally, and that is why I always say we could do better if we had accurate and good guidance right from childhood on how to handle English phonology. Phonology refers to the sound system of a language or the speech sounds of any language. Phonology. When we talk about phonetics, that is where now you talk of the speech sounds and the way they are produced. But please, anyway, nobody is spotless. Now, let's get to those phonetic or sound symbols. For tonight, I have the unvoiced sound th, just like in the word teeth, teeth, the plural of tooth, teeth. You can realize I'm producing the sound th, just like in thin, thon, or thorax. So the symbol is right here. It's like a theta. So you say teeth, but then that is the noun. When you come to the verb, that is where now that voiced sound the with the symbol which I have shown you this side, please, you say teeth, to teeth. Teething problems. Don't say teething. Teething problems. To teeth, no. Teeth is the noun. The verb, teeth. So the verb has an E in its ending. You get it clear, dear viewers? Good. English can always be good and can always be so nice. You understand that? But next week, can you try saying these words? There are only three. Can you say them? Next week, you'll just understand how to pronounce the three words. Distinguishing some of these words can be a bit of a task. But if you watch Mind Your Language every Friday night, a segment of Friday Briefing, you won't have much trouble because I'll try to ensure that I demystify them. I make them easy to understand for you in terms of the phonology of standard English. So, whether you say descent, 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 and all that, you'll get everything clearly next week. But throughout the week, you can also interact with me on Twitter, and the handle is at Willice Ochieng 1, at Willice Ochieng 1. So you can just reach me on Twitter, and we can always interact with any question the way you always send in questions. My cameraman has been one and the only Fred Moturi, and I have to thank you as usual and most sincerely for the pleasure of your time and that very, very privilege of your company. You get it right. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, and it's now time to take you back to the powerful team in Nairobi.
All right, many thanks, Willice the Word Master. It's always a pleasure, and that was quite a decent session we had there.
Oh yeah, you're being the Word Master now?
Let me try.
Okay.
No one's perfect.
I'll just wait for next week. Anyway, that's how we wrap things up officially now on the Friday Briefing. Thank you very much for joining us till the tail end, as Jesse likes putting it. I am Ashley Mazuri. Our sign language interpreter is Marisha Muti.
And on behalf of the whole crew, including the camera person, we say thank you so much. I'm Jesse Rogers. Have yourself a good night.
While other networks discriminate, sisi hatubagui, tuna serve everybody with Airtel's amazing data bundles. Get 500 MB free daily, 3.5 GB free weekly, and 15 GB free monthly with every bundle purchase. Dial *544#. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
This is KTN News.
While other networks discriminate, sisi hatubagui, tuna serve everybody. Pay for 2 SMSs for the day. Get 40 free from Airtel for that day. The offer is automatic, no subscription required. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
When a Maasai girl wake up, the first thing she does, milk. Girls are seen as cash cows. Maasai's culturally booked wives when the girls were still young. Some of them actually used to book even when the woman is pregnant.
Once again, we are at it together. Rivalries are restocked. Nothing is for sure in these games.
And what another rasping, it was another rasping shot from...
Momentum is gathering, and this is what makes our heart beat.
A happy man, I can see the smile.
It's always on the edge. It's always football time.
And for the first time...
Here comes the FKF Premier League. Catch it exclusively on BTV and StarTimes. As we go into the 10th week, the party gets bigger and better. Last week, Ochungulo family and Sailors brought the house down with energetic Gengetone performances. They represented the genre well. This Saturday, we pull a rabbit out of a hat and bring you magical acts. Prince Inda will be in the house, bringing the house down. Alongside him will be the maestro himself, Jose Gatutura. This will be a night not to miss, because we have 47 million reasons.
What's cracking, everything?
And you are one of them. Powered by Tusker.
Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
This is KTN News.